morning, I'm Donna Bush with your CIG television news brief and weather forecast. With restrictions, processes, and procedures in place, more flights will arrive in the Cayman Islands starting today, October 1st. Those arriving, including homeowners, will be all quarantined at approved locations. Back on September 17th, 29 travelers arrived in the islands, helping to test the monitoring technology while quarantining at home. With safety remaining a top priority, the government has combined several distinct layers of protection to safeguard residents and minimize the risk from COVID-19. These include an element of personal responsibility supported by repeated PCR testing, monitoring through geofencing technology, random checks, and strong penalties for non-compliance. Minister for Tourism and Deputy Premier, the Honorable Moses Kirkernel, says, quote, "We're continuing to monitor and learn from the experiences of jurisdictions that have already opened and are putting robust health and safety mechanisms in place so that when it becomes safe to do so, tourists can gradually be welcomed back to our shores, enabling people to return to work." Here are some things that those wanting to return to the Cayman Islands should know. From October 1st, you must first receive approval from Travel Time by completing the relevant form on explore.gov.ky/travel. You should also know that anyone over the age of 5 will be tested at the airport for COVID-19 when they arrive. You can quarantine at home if you meet the criteria, agree to wear monitoring technology, and if your home has been pre-approved by public health. Also, permission to quarantine at home is not guaranteed and is subject to approval by the medical officer of health. Anyone over the age of 5 who quarantines at home will have to wear a geofencing device that will alert the monitoring team if there's a breach. Finally, all inbound travelers will be required to attest to a statement which confirms that they possess COVID-19 health insurance coverage or that they understand the financial risks they're taking and that they have independent means to cover their medical costs. Now, to find out which groups of persons are allowed to return now and for the latest news, as well as information regarding travel to and from the Cayman Islands, you can visit explore.gov.ky/travel. Meantime, the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure announces its first virtual festival, Experience Cayman. The virtual festival has a lineup of online experiences centered around shopping, eating, staying, and playing on island.
We wanted to launch a campaign that would help people or would encourage people to support local businesses and to experience Cayman with the lack of tourism. With our borders still being closed, we want to encourage residents and locals alike to experience what we have to offer here. And so we've created a virtual platform that allows you to go online and not only talk about your experiences and share your experiences, but see and read about other experiences and other person's experiences in making your plans to experience our beautiful country.
For more details on Experience Cayman, you can go online to their website, experiencecayman.ky. Well, October is Older Persons Month, and over 20 activities are planned to celebrate the elderly while observing social distancing. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. right here on CIG television, you can watch a series of life stories with some of our elders from across the Cayman Islands, including Kim and Brac. Now, the theme of this year's observation is Life Stories, Then and Now, and the theme encourages families and individuals in the community to really listen and learn from our older relatives. It may also provide a great opportunity for intergenerational discussions and debate, said DCFS Director, Mrs. Paulinda Mendoza-Williams. Well, as we reported on Wednesday, the Department of Environment is busy building their presence on Kim and Brac, and hiring a new officer is one way in which they're doing that.
One of the ways that we intend to increase our presence here is to build a new office, and the office will include housing for visiting scientists. So we have a similar facility in Little Cayman, which has been very successful. It's always filled with either our staff from Grand Cayman going over and doing research, or a lot of international scientists coming to do special studies. So they can get grant funding as long as they can afford it, and this housing offers a lot of opportunities. We'd like to do the same thing in Cayman Brac because there's so much interest in the work that goes on here. So we're hoping that by building a facility that will allow this to happen, we can really increase what we can do to protect the environment here. We're in the process of recruiting for a conservation officer for Cayman Brac, who will be a full-time employee here. And in the past, we've been more oriented toward law enforcement, And while this staff person will have enforcement powers, we'd really like to expand that into more of a proactive conservation role. So working with indigenous species and trying to get rid of invasive species, educating the public on the need to preserve the environment is going to be a big part of this job, and not just to act as a policeman and catching people doing bad things.
Turning now to the forecast from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Today's high temperature reached 87, the low 78. The forecast calls for cloudy to overcast skies, as we've seen all day, with an 80% chance of showers. Showers may become locally heavy at times, leading to possible flooding of low-lying areas. Winds are from the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas are moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Seas may become rough in and around heavy showers, so small craft users should exercise caution over open waters. For more on local weather, you can go online to weather.gov.ky or you can download their app. That's CINWS. And that ends today's news brief here on CIG Television. I'm Donna Bush. Have a great night.